9/11 Simulations. As covered in 9/11 World Trade Center attack and Skygate 9/11, government reports claim the aircraft used on 9/11 exceeded the limits of a standard 757 and 767 by a wide margin. The airplane which impacted the North Tower was traveling at a speed of roughly 425 knots after taking into account winds reported. The max operating limit, or VMO, for a standard 767 is 360 knots. So the first strike exceeded the limits of a standard 767 by more than 65 knots. The second strike aircraft is reported to have been flying at 500 to 520 knots, descending through 12,000 feet with an impact speed of 510. This is 150 knots over VMO. The aircraft, which is alleged to have hit the Pentagon, was traveling at 462 knots, according to the NTSB. VMO for a 757 is 350 knots, so this would be 112 knots over the max operating limit of a standard 757. Using a PC-based flight simulator developed by aeronautical engineers, Pilots for Truth attempt to duplicate the 9/11 attacks based on data provided by the government. The lead aeronautical engineer who developed this simulator has over 20 years' experience as a simulator modeler with over 25 years of real-world aviation experience. According to his LinkedIn page, he currently works for Lockheed Martin, specializing in aircraft flight dynamics modeling along with propulsion and systems modeling. Certainly he knows and understands aircraft limitations and aerodynamics. We first attempt to duplicate the attacks on the World Trade Center. The data we're using comes from the radar information provided by the government through the Freedom of Information Act. We placed the aircraft at this location based on latitude and longitude coordinates corresponding to 12,000 feet, starting with a speed of 300 knots. We will now set up the simulator while disregarding aircraft limitations as we were told regarding the events of 9/11. In order to do this, we have to disable the crash and damage logic on the simulator, and you'll learn why later. Let's begin. This flight represents American 11, the first strike on the morning of September 11th. Again, according to reports, the aircraft struck the North Tower at a speed of 425 knots. This is 65 knots over the max operating limit of a standard 767. As we line up with the World Trade Center in downtown New York City, keep in mind the new One World Trade Center is placed at ground zero for reference, as this simulation did not come with the Twin Towers due to the events of 9/11. The model of One World Trade Center is an add-on to this simulator and depicts it as currently under construction. Also keep in mind, this particular model of One World Trade Center does not have dynamic collisions recognized. So as we impact the tower, we will fly right through it until we hit another surface, which came with the simulator. However, with crash logic disabled, we will fly through all buildings until we enable the crash logic. Now we will enable the crash logic. With realistic settings on high and damage logic enabled, this aircraft could not get past VMO plus 46. Now for the second strike, the South Tower.
Give me a ticket for an airplane. Ain't got time, say no factory. Lonely days are gone, I'm coming home. There's a lonely letter. I don't care, but I gotta spill. Find my way back home again. Lonely days are gone,